Today's episode is sponsored by our good friends at Famous Faces and Funnies, located in Melbourne, Florida. Check out their Facebook online auctions on great deals on back issues and action figures, shipping nationwide. Along with our friends at EGS Expert Grading Services, the only company that gives you customized graded labels for your comic books, shipping nationwide. Hello, welcome to another exciting episode of Codename New to Vero 2. Hi, I'm your presenter, Shabu Are You. Now, during our last GIJoe graded showcase, I shared GIJoe issue number 6, the first appearance of the Oktoberguard. I find it a little ironic featuring the Oktoberguard during these tragic times of unrest with all that's transpired over at Ukraine. But let me say this for everyone out there to dwell and ponder on. Like our war on terror, we are not fighting against a race, a religion, or the general public. Like many other vets discovered when going to Iraq and Afghanistan, it's not the people who actually are more so the victims of scumbags that led to us being in a war. So this issue is a good reminder that the Russian people are just as much victims in this ordeal than anything else. And that to me is what makes this story even more sad. Anyway, let's go into this issue. As always, we check out the cover variants, and I ended up with just cover B this time. But again, check out John Royal's amazing RI cover. Guys, if you're not a John Royal fan by now, I can't do anything for you. This is truly a must-have and wonderful piece of art. Now, this issue actually picks up after issue number 275, during that epic 10-issue Snake Hunt story arc. The Oktoberguard has just helped with the invasion of Springfield to liberate Snake Eyes. Now, during that skirmish, Diana was hit and is in the back of Cindy's van, and she's not doing too well. We are also going to discover some crazy shit that went down during the last Sierra Gordo conflict that has us realizing how messed up the Oktoberguard really is. Alright, so it goes without saying that in the back of Cindy's van, Colonel Brekhoff tells Stalker what transpired during the Sierra Gordo conflict, and that the Oktoberguard that we knew them no longer exists. These guys are mostly cyborgs that have the brains of the old Oktoberguards in them. So they're living off of the memories and stuff. And then we segue to the flashback when all this transpired. Take a minute to reflect on that. This is earth-shattering shit here. Like, it caught me off guard that the Oktoberguard doesn't exist anymore. That they are meat puppets to what the Soviets had them be subject to in order to get where they are right now. During the flashback, we see almost everyone in the Oktoberguard completely shot to shit. Horror Show is fading fast. Drozdzinski is going into cardiac arrest. They are running out of time. One of the medevac pilots and the nurse informs of a new experimental quote-unquote hospital, which just so happens to be on a stealth corvette ship off the coast of Sierra Gordo. We're going to jump back to the present. Now, Cindy's van finally breaks down, but it just so happens that Crystal Ball is passing by. He offers them a lift. Now, if this all sounds nuts, you got to go back and watch those recaps to understand. So he ends up giving them a lift to their copter that's stashed out of town. A week later, we see the Oktoberguard in St. Petersburg at the headquarters of this BACU, Robotics and Cybernetics Center, aka that hospital I mentioned. At the center, Diana is in a back-to-tank-like tube. Brekhoff sees the same two quote-unquote doctors that worked on him and the others. Diana was not part of that initial group as she was captured at the time. Now, Brekhoff insists that he doesn't want her to be more machine than human. Now, one of the doctors ends up giving him a tour, showcasing all the bizarre process that goes on. To explain to you guys, think of like the living tissue that's on the skin of the T-800 in Terminator. You know, this is the place that grows that living tissue on top of the metal skeleton after it adds the parts. Now, during the entire Snake Hunt story arc, Horror Show would have these like glitches. It makes total sense now that he's like mostly robotic. He's not the original Horror Show, but nonetheless, that they asked him to take a look at what's going on, and they found out that his module is damaged. And the only way to get this module is to go into Revanche, because they've been working with Revanche side by side, and we see Revanche here, and we know that they're the new big enemy that's a threat to everybody to take over the world, aka Skynet. All right, I think we need to take a minute because all of this is batshit crazy. So I'm gonna try to just let's gather ourselves going forward, because this shit's really messed up. I had to read it a couple times. So again, we discovered that 4 of the October guards were fatally injured. Now, the Russians used this experimental advances in cybernetics to bring 4 of members of the October Guard back from the dead. Only Draginsky and Diana were left out of the initial wave because they were held captives. Now, because of Horror Show's condition that he's going, glitches and stuff like that, apparently this Russian BACU corporation had dealings with Revanche, and they kind of like sold their technology to Revanche. Now the question is, why would a company like Revanche be interested in cybernetics when, they're the authority in this field? I mean, that's what their whole thing is based upon. It's just really weird how Revanche, we saw in the other episodes with the casino, Revanche is turning out to be a bigger threat, and that's what everything is leading up to. All right, so going back in the story, the only way to cure Horror Show's glitches is to go back into Revanche to secure this module that they had sold off. Now, at the same time, Revanche is anticipating this move, so they're all set up and prepared for the October Guard. October Guard think they have the jump, but no. Revanche is a calculating machine. So they're just waiting for the October Guard to come. Now, why is what we're going to find out. Why? And we see the breakdown. Horror Show 70% Revanche parts. Diana and Drazinski, they're not. But Breckhoff and all of them, they all have a percentage of Revanche parts in them. Now, I know a lot of old school Marvel people have no idea what the hell I'm talking about, but Revanche's goal, you guys got to remember in this IDW run, that Revanche's goal is to enslave humanity. It's basically they see us as servants and they want to dominate the world. So I could see they want to see how much Revanche technology needs to go into a human being for them to have control. That's my guess. So the October Guard make their way to Revanche's headquarters in New Jersey to extract these parts needed for Horror Show. Now, wisely, they decide to not go in the traditional route and follow the easiest path, because that is obviously a setup for a trap. Now, this actually makes Revanche to, go back on their heels, because they're a machine. They calculated all of these measurements and movements, and the human element, this is the key to this issue. The human versus the machine element. Again, this is like a Terminator. So they send their big bad blue ninjas, what they call, to eliminate. But they also, knowing that their Revanche parts in the October Guard, they shut down these parts. So again, 2/3 of their Revanche unit is completely shut down. Horror Show, being 70% 100%, has the most, he's complete, but he uses his willpower to overcome this programming. So again, he's not a machine. He's a man, and he's showing that his love for his comrades and just that to preserve his team overrides whatever computer elements that is in him. That is the nature of this beast and what this issue is about. That even though the October Guard that we once knew it no longer really exists, there is still the same October Guard that we all remember. And again, this begs the question, what is Revanche's big plans with the casino down at Cobra Island? I mean, the GIJoe team is on the outside kind of like, ooh, what's going on here? So I hope that this, crazy issue, I hope I was able to add a little bit of an element to it. Once again, Larry Hama is layering. Each layer for this ultimate story arc, it just adds more. You just have to stick with it and appreciate it for what it is. So stay tuned. We're going to look at the next issue, 291, which looks like we're going back into Cobra Island, seeing what happens with this casino, as well as we're going to look at issue number 2 in the new Sunbow themed comic series. So stay tuned. We got a lot of great books coming. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.